Last time on Sonic Adventure, we completed Sonic's story, so we're going to move on to Tails' story.
Here I come, Sonic!
No, Sonic's story is already done, you're way behind Tails. So, considering we had to play Sonic's story first, I think we already know how this is going to turn out.
Everything's working great!
Yeah, about that. What did I just say, Tails? Wow, that animation looks weird. It looks like the Chaos Emerald is constantly about to fall out of the plane. It's just gonna unscrew itself at any moment. He doesn't really sound that concerned about the fact that he's probably going to die in a moment. And he would totally hit the ground. He did not have enough time to do that, nor enough space, so that is 100% a miracle. And we don't actually get a first stage. Bit of a shame we don't get to do Emerald Coast backwards, but we actually have this cutscene first. This is actually kind of nice. First thing we see, Sonic saving Tails, which, story-wise, is actually kind of important, and a pretty good way to start that out. I know, good pacing in a Sonic game story, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's not amazing, but, you know, I'd like to point out the little details that, you know, are pretty important. So, one thing I actually really like about Sonic Adventure is the fact that we do see scenes that we saw in Sonic's story, however, they are worded slightly different. They all have slightly different scripts. I mean, they're basically saying the same thing, but in different ways, so when you watch cutscenes again, they are at least a little bit different. Of course, this is the best when we get to Dr. Robotnik, and he has way more amazing lines than he already had before. Though, just like in Sonic's story, Sonic's face also implodes again. We also get different theme music, because before we actually heard Tails' theme, and when we're talking with Sonic, we hear Sonic's theme, it doesn't matter, which is all about Sonic not caring about anything, so I guess he's pretty darn internet. Just totally in the middle! Alright, so we now have control of Tails. We're not actually going to play an action stage for a little while, but hey, we can talk to these ladies. Hey, by the way, how was almost dying, Tails? At least this girl cares. The other one's like, if screw that. Summer vacation, it's pretty great. Especially when you're not dead. I am going to hug that door. That door cares about me a lot. They sure are. And if the bonus video is any indication, I have no clue how to actually raise those fuckers. Hey, guy who hates everything but the ocean, and specifically the ocean during the day. Yep, you sure do. The ocean's always there for me. Maybe you should go hug the sea then. Alright, I think the NPC dialogue is pretty much the same though. Now, different characters will actually come to Station Square and, well, the other adventure fields at different times, so you might pick up on different parts of the plot that Sonic wasn't able to get to, but, of course, this is the same time where Sonic was exploring Station Square, so we're going to get a lot of similar dialogue. And by the way, for some reason I had a lot of trouble getting up in that hole, and also, by the way, Tails' story was all done in, like, one take. You'll be able to tell. Well, okay, I did repeat a few stages, but for the most part, I didn't really have much trouble. And anyway, yeah, that's why I didn't reset, because I wanted to keep that in. So anyway, here's a very important upgrade, one of two that Tails has.
Look, it's your jet anchor.
The one you already had, but put in this locked house for some reason. Anyway, yeah, this allows us to fly faster, which is really good for Tails, considering his entire gimmick is flights. So, yeah, we're going to be using this to get around really fast. It's probably one of my favorite ways to get around, more so than Sonic's Spin Dash. Though there is one even better way to get around, and one that Tails actually has. However, it's an upgrade we're not getting for quite a while. Well, I say quite a while. Tails' story is pretty short. I believe I mentioned this in Sonic's story, but Sonic does have the longest story, and even then his was pretty short. By the way, one take. I know I don't do deaths, but A, this isn't an action stage, and B, come on, that was hilarious. And besides, there was no real way to actually edit around that, especially since you can't copy files, so if I make any major mistakes, I'm kinda gonna have to live with it. Just like when I accidentally fucked up the aspect ratio in the bonus video. Go me. Oh, thanks. Great advice. Yeah, Tails actually gets tired pretty quickly, and although flying is a pretty big part of his gameplay, especially in the action stages, there is actually something to help out his flight, which is kind of the backbone of his action stages, but we don't actually get to his action stages for, you know, a few minutes at least, because I'm sure you remember, but there's a little boss over there. Well, not exactly a little boss, a fairly big boss, but only in size, not in importance. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the same dialogue from before, which is kind of understandable. You wouldn't want to just program in new NPC dialogue for everyone, just for the important cutscenes. That makes sense. Yep. Remember back in the day when the wall hadn't just spontaneously collapsed? Good times. Good times. Also, I think that guy has a mustache, but it actually looks like he's kind of freaking out, like he's doing that one of those big anime frowns. Not even a frown, because a frown implies your mouth is closed, but his mouth is open. He's like, wah! Anyway, that's what I thought he looked like. Anyway, boss time.
Well.
Did you see that? Tails faced the camera.
Sonic, who is way more important.
I am Dr. Robotnik, the most cunning scientific genius in the world!
Yeah, right, Dr. McMahon.
Even in Tails' story, Sonic gets the good dialogue. Though to be honest, I prefer Sonic's version of that line. Whatever, Eggman.
Trouble coming from you.
Tails, I don't care about you. Why are you talking?
Give me that Chaos Emerald, or else...
Or else what, huh?
Again, Sonic's line is better. Oh. It's not redundant this time, that's a shame. Again, I prefer Sonic's version.
Or else I'll take it from you by force, the hard way.
Oh well. They can't all be winners, but I'm pretty sure Tails still has some pretty good versions of cutscenes. Yep, real menacing. Cough cough first boss. So Tails' first boss is exactly the same as Sonic's second boss. Yep, he's just as easy, and there's nothing really new for Tails. I mean, Tails controls slightly differently in that he has a spin rather than a spin dash. But other than that, well, he also doesn't have a target jump, so you just have to jump into him normally, which honestly isn't that difficult. Doesn't really add much to the fight, so it's not too terribly interesting. Other than that, it's just avoid the volleys of missiles, which honestly is even easier this time because of Tails' flight. I guess that's the most significant change. Tails can fly, therefore avoiding missiles is even easier. With Sonic, you did have to target jump around in order to avoid him, but here, just fly. Do remember, as I said before, you don't have that much flight time, so make sure you know when's about Tails gonna fall. And done. Oh yeah, by the way, something I show off. Whee! And boop. Yeah, he can still harm you. Remember how this is a first take? Though to be honest, I don't care. I did the actual boss no hit, so I don't care about that too much. That's just for laughs.
Oh no, my Egomatic is splatting again. Oh curses, every time.
That was just too...
Anyway, let me take out the Chaos Emerald to taunt him.
Gotcha!
I knew you'd be a moron, Tails. After all, you have the same IQ as me, and I'm also an idiot. Did you see that, boss? Did you honestly think I knew what I was doing? No, I didn't. He's been a little under the weather. I think his stomach's empty. This should give him a whole lot of energy. And perhaps, maybe it will even give him stronger bones.
That's the monster I saw the other day.
monster. Is it really that scary after you've seen giant robots?
Oh, look at that! His bones are stronger, in that he has bones now!
The stone tablet said it would. Hear this, Sonic.
Not you, Tails, I don't care about you.
Increases every time I give him a Chaos Emerald.
When I give him another Chaos Emerald, he's gonna get a bone in his left arm! He'll be unbeatable!
Turn Station Square into rubble, upon which I will build the ultimate city, Robotnik Land.
It's gonna be great and everybody's going to love living there. And it definitely will not be a theme park, until later on when I realize that Robotnik Land makes a pretty good theme park name. And I make a literal theme park of death.
And again, we get to hear this part of the song that you never really get to hear, and it's pretty great. It's pretty catchy, and it's great, and it's got great timing for this part of the cutscene. But of course, I'm talking over it, so it doesn't even matter.
Right? So what do you say, Sonic? Let's find the Chaos Emeralds before Eggman does.
Nah, I don't feel like it. Alright, so Tails' goal is the same as Sonic's. We gotta go get those Chaos Emeralds, otherwise Dr. Eggman's gonna use Chaos to destroy Station Square. So, just like with Sonic, we're going to start our hunt with this here Wind Key. We're gonna bring it over to this here pedestal, and then we're gonna enter our first action stage, which is actually gonna be pretty short. So before we actually get to the stage, I will say, Tails usually only has one, well, always has one section of the stage. We start right out in the air. So, Tails' gimmick is he races Sonic, and it's actually pretty fun. It's just like Sonic stages, except you have to go even faster to beat an opponent. Now, the main thing you want to look out for here is these rings. They will boost you to another location and refill your, well, I'd say flight gauge, but there's no gauge. But it does refill the amount of time you get to fly, so make sure you fly into them. This is pretty much how you're going to be able to beat Sonic easily. I mean, you do have a chance even if you don't use them, but I think Sonic rubber bands, and even then, it's better safe than sorry, so take the fast way. Anyway, yeah, this is the reason that... Whoa, whoops. I can fix this, I can fix this, I can fix this, I fixed it. Anyway, this is the reason that Tails' story is much shorter than Sonic's. Tails probably has the second most amount of stages in the game of all the characters, but he only gets one section of each level, and it's a race, so since you can skip most of these sections of each stage, Tails' story goes really quickly, and overall is actually a lot easier than Sonic's. Because honestly, Tails skips a lot of the hard parts that Sonic has, and we get the Chaos Emerald before Sonic did, which matters, I guess? Oh well, we'll discuss the importance of Tails winning races next time on Sonic Adventure. Oh, hey Sonic, how's it going?